a billionaire went undercover to order a steak, but the waitress slipped him a note that changed everything. Opening scene hook. Rain tapped steadily against the windshield of a black sedan parked at the edge of a lonely road in rural Montana. Inside sat Ethan Cole, the billionaire founder of Cole Industries, a man whose name echoed across business magazines and investor circles. But tonight, there was no entourage, no chauffeur, no security detail. He wore a faded gray hoodie, jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low, the kind of outfit that made him invisible. For the first time in years, that's exactly what he wanted to be. He wasn't there for meetings or publicity. He was there to disappear just for a night. He turned off the car and stared across the street at a small diner with a flickering neon sign that read, Millie's Place, home of the best steak in town. He didn't know it yet, but inside that diner was someone who would shake his soul in ways all his billions never could. Part 1, The Stranger in the Diner. The bell over the door jingled as Ethan walked in. The smell of sizzling steak, butter, and coffee hit him like a warm hug. Country music hummed quietly through an old speaker. Only a handful of people sat inside, a trucker nursing a cup of coffee, a young couple sharing fries, and behind the counter, a waitress who looked like she'd been on her feet since dawn. Her name tag read Grace. "Evenin'," she said with a tired smile. "Grab a seat anywhere you like. You look like you could use something warm." Ethan smiled faintly. "Steak, medium rare. Black coffee." "You got it," Grace said, scribbling the order down before heading to the kitchen. He watched her move, efficient, kind, but something in her eyes looked heavy. Like she was carrying the weight of the world and still managed to smile anyway. He wasn't used to being invisible. Usually, people stumbled over themselves when they saw him: reporters, investors, employees. But here, he was just another face in a diner. It felt good. Part 2, A Quiet Conversation. When Grace returned with his meal, she noticed the way he was looking out the window instead of at his phone. "Not from around here, are ya?" she asked, setting the plate down. "No," Ethan said. "Just passing through." She nodded, leaning on the counter. "You'd be surprised how many folks say that. Some come back. Some don't." He chuckled softly. "You sound like you've seen a lot." "Yeah," she said, eyes dimming slightly. "Enough to know everyone's running from something." Ethan looked up, caught off guard. Her words hit deeper than they should have. He'd built an empire, but lately, he'd been running too. From himself. From guilt. Part 3, The Note. When Grace dropped the check at his table, she also placed a folded napkin beside it. He didn't notice until she turned away. He unfolded it, expecting maybe a quote, a doodle, or even a phone number. Instead, it read, "If you're lost, don't stay that way. You can still find your way home." He froze. His breath caught in his throat. How could she have known? For weeks, Ethan had been spiraling his company under investigation for a subsidiary's unethical practices, his board turning on him, his marriage long collapsed. He'd lost sight of why he started any of it. He looked up, but Grace was gone helping another customer. He paid the bill, leaving a tip far beyond what she expected, and walked out into the cold night, the note burning in his hand like a truth he'd forgotten. Part 4, The Return. A week later, Ethan came back. Not in disguise this time. No hoodie, no baseball cap. He wore a simple shirt and jacket, but his presence carried quiet power. Grace recognized him immediately, not from magazines, but from the look in his eyes. They were different now. You came back, she said. I did, he said softly. I needed to thank you. For what, she asked, genuinely puzzled. He reached into his wallet and unfolded the note. This. You reminded me that I was lost and that I didn't have to stay that way. Grace blinked. It was just a note. I write things sometimes for people who look like they need it. He smiled. Well, that note saved more than you know. I shut down 2 divisions last week, the ones hurting people to make profits. I went public about it. It'll cost me billions, but... He paused, his voice steady. It's the first time in years I've felt proud of what I built. Grace's eyes softened. You didn't need a note for that. You just needed to remember who you were. Part 5, What Money Couldn't Buy. Over the months that followed, Ethan returned to the diner often, sometimes to eat, sometimes just to talk. He helped quietly repairing the diner's old stove, covering repairs anonymously when the roof leaked. But never once did he flaunt who he was. For Grace, he was just Ethan, the quiet man who liked coffee and kindness. And for Ethan, she became something he hadn't had in years, a reminder of humanity. He sponsored scholarships for the town's kids under a new foundation, the Grace Fund, named after a waitress who reminded me that home isn't a place, it's a purpose. Part 6, The Legacy. Years later, when the story eventually surfaced that one of the world's richest men had gone undercover and been changed by a small-town waitress, reporters flooded the diner. They found Grace still there, serving coffee, smiling like always. When asked how it felt to change a billionaire's life, she only said, "You never know who's sitting at your table or how much a few kind words can mean." Epilogue. On the wall of Millie's diner now hangs a framed note, the original napkin, edges yellowed but words still clear: if you're lost, don't stay that way. You can still find your way home. And underneath, a brass plaque reads, "Kindness changes more than money ever will." Closing message. Narration tone. Sometimes, the world doesn't need another billionaire or another success story. It just needs someone who looks up, notices another soul drifting, and reminds them gently that it's never too late to come home. Because even the richest man can lose his way, and sometimes, all it takes to find it again is a note from a stranger who cared enough to write it.